When I was 11 and a half, the world suddenly stopped making sense. One ordinary Tuesday, I woke up with a weird ache low in my belly and a red stain on my favorite pajama shorts. I thought I was dying. I actually thought I'd cut myself in my sleep and hadn't noticed. I ran to my mom in tears, convinced I had hours to live. Mom didn't laugh. She just wrapped me in a hug that smelled like coffee and laundry detergent and said, "Baby, you're not dying. You just became a woman today." I remember thinking, that's the worst news I've ever heard. Everything felt gross and foreign. My chest hurt when I ran for the bus. My favorite t-shirts suddenly fit weird. The boys in class started acting stupid whenever I walked by, and the girls whispered things I didn't understand yet. I wanted to crawl back into being 10 forever. The women in my life, though, they showed up. First, there was Mom. She took me to the store and let me pick out whatever pads I wanted, the purple box with the butterflies, because at least something should feel magical. She sat on the edge of the bathtub that night and explained periods like it was the most normal thing on earth. No shame, no shh, just facts and a heating pad and chocolate chip cookies. Then came my big sister Maya, home from college for the weekend. She barged into my room with a stack of her old Teen Vogue magazines and a box of tampons like she was handing me contraband. She said, "You don't have to use these yet, but when you're ready, I'll teach you." No one taught me right, and I almost flooded the locker room in 9th grade. We laughed until we cried, and suddenly having a period felt less like a curse and more like an inside joke between sisters. My Aunt Rosa, the nurse, drew me diagrams on the back of an envelope over Sunday dinner. Uterus, ovaries, fallopian tubes, like she was explaining how a car engine worked. Your body is fearfully and wonderfully made. Never let anyone make you feel dirty for it. And Mrs. Carter, my 6th grade science teacher, caught me crying in the bathroom because my pad had shifted and I was terrified I'd bled through my khakis. She didn't make a scene. She just handed me a long sweater from the Lost and Found, walked me to the nurse, and later pulled me aside. She said, "One day, you're going to help another little girl who feels exactly like you do right now. Remember how this feeling." I didn't believe her then. I just wanted to disappear. But I never forgot. High school was a blur of cramps and mood swings and learning that PMS wasn't a myth. I got angry a lot. Angry at the boys who snapped bra straps, angry at the dress code that punished girls for having bodies, angry that no one talked about any of this out loud. So I started talking. First in group chats, then on an anonymous blog I called The Red Tent. I wrote about leaking through jeans, about the shame, about how no one prepares you for the first time your boobs become public property. Girls from other schools started writing in. Hundreds of them. They sent me their stories, their fears, their questions no adult would answer straight. I realized I wasn't broken. I was just first-generation honest. By 16, I knew what I wanted to be. The kind of doctor who never made a girl feel small for asking about her own body. College was hard. Organic chemistry tried to murder me. I cried in the library more than once. But every time I wanted to quit, I'd open the folder on my laptop with thousands of messages from girls who said, "Because of you, I didn't feel alone anymore." That folder was my fuel. Medical school was worse. I was one of the only brown girls in my class. Attendings who still called periods the curse. Patients who'd rather suffer in silence than talk to a young doctor. But I kept going. I studied harder, smiled professional, and never forgot the 11-year-old who thought she was dying on a Tuesday morning. I did my residency in obstetrics and gynecology. I sat with teenagers who thought they were pregnant and were terrified to tell their parents. I held the hands of women who'd never had an orgasm and thought something was wrong with them. I delivered babies and I delivered truth. Gentle, clear, shame-free truth. After residency, I opened a clinic in the same neighborhood I grew up in. Bright walls, teen corner with beanbags, free pads and tampons in every bathroom because no girl should ever miss school for that. We called it the Bloom Clinic. I started a YouTube channel too because the internet raised me when school wouldn't. Simple videos, your first period, what no one tells you. Yes, your vulva is normal. How to talk to your doctor without dying of embarrassment. No sugarcoating, no whispering, just a brown woman in a white coat saying the words out loud. The channel grew. Millions of subscribers. News outlets called me the period doctor. I hated the nickname at first, then I owned it. I wrote a book, sold enough copies to open 2 more clinics. I spoke at the UN about menstrual equity. Someone even made a documentary about my work. But the moments I love most are quiet. Like the 12-year-old who came in last month, clutching her mom's hand, whispering, "I started bleeding and I'm scared." I sat on a rolling stool so I was eye level with her. "Hey," I said, "I was you once, cried in my kitchen thinking I was dying. You're not dying, you're beginning. And I'm here for every question, okay?" She smiled, small, shaky, but real. Or the thousands of DMs that just saying, "I watched your video before my first pelvic exam and I didn't cry." Last year, I got a letter from Mrs. Carter, my 6th grade teacher. She's retired now. She wrote, "I always knew you'd be the one to help that next little girl. Thank you for remembering." I keep that letter on my desk. Sometimes, late at night, when the clinic is dark and I'm locking up, I think about that terrified 11-year-old version of me. I wish I could go back and tell her, one day, all this weirdness will make you powerful. One day, you'll turn your most embarrassing secret into your superpower. One day, you'll sit across from girls who look just like you did, and you'll be the woman who makes them feel safe. And you'll realize the world didn't stop making sense that Tuesday morning. It finally started to. So if you're watching this and you're 11, or 15, or 40 and still carrying shame you can't name, listen to me. Your body is not the enemy. Your questions are not silly. Your story matters. And somewhere out there is a woman who's been exactly where you are, who's waiting to help light the way. Maybe one day, that woman will be you.